We are going. Hello, hello.
Well, hey, welcome to our shop once again. It's our second episode.
Number two.
Podcast number 2. I think it's called a podcast, right? All new.
Currently.
Yeah.
Until we come up with a name.
We will come up maybe some suggestions. Once again, I'm Troy Colley, better known these days as Troy Colley 203.
Oh, yes.
My beautiful son, Christopher, who is also my manager, online IT guy, takes care of all this stuff, and also is my firewood splitter, takes the recycling up.
Anything and everything.
Yeah, pretty much my go-to guy for all kinds of things. So
Yeah. Well, with this one, we're trying out some equipment, see how it sounds and looks, and let us know. And
yeah, let us know. Actually, we had a bunch of trial and errors here as we got started. We have new microphones, and we're trying to figure out how far away we should stay, or maybe not. And then Christopher also bought a mixer board, and we have a new camera, so we're going to try all these things out. And it was fun. It took us about an hour and a half to
figure most of it out, and even then we'll probably find stuff along the way that we're
going to learn more as we go. So
yeah, like we said, we're a trial and error kind of guys. So
yeah, and it works well. So at this point, we think it's working well. So
instead of episode number 2, it should be trial number 2. Trying to figure it out.
Troy and Christopher on trial again.
Yeah.
So, anyways, we'd like to welcome you to the shop, and it's been a nice day today. We had a good day, good weather. Yep. So for Sunday on a weekend, it's been a good weather day. So
spent all day inside watching the Masters.
Yeah, Chris watched the Masters.
Watching other people enjoy the sun and play golf.
I went and played guitar, and then went shopping. We were this week building a deck out back, and so we have had to rerun all kinds of things like electric, plumbing, and propane to get to the propane fire pits. And so, but the deck should be done, our contractor thinks, by Friday.
Really?
So yeah, so 5 more days.
Nice.
So we're pretty excited about it. It's been 26 years actually. We designed and built this home and wanted to have a deck. It was part of the original plan, but we just never got to it. And so now we are finally there. I don't know if these sounds are, let us know. Well, we'll find out when we start editing. I'm sure these sounds will pick up. So
just background ASMR stuff.
So this time, though, we thought we would talk a little bit more about, in the first one, we talked about some of my travels as a young man, and then as an older man, too. And Christopher and I have several stories about travels that we've gone on together. And so we thought we'd talk about traveling and just roaming around the country and roaming around the world, really. So
yeah, I mean, I've only been to Japan out of this country, but you've been to Europe for 7, 8 years?
About 8 years, yeah.
Okay.
8 years.
Now, when you were in Europe, what was different as opposed to how it is here in the U.S.?
Well, they didn't speak much English.
Well, okay, yeah, fair enough.
There was a language barrier, and I'm not great with languages, so I didn't pick it up very well, but enough to be able to get along. So I was there in the early 60s, and in fact, recently on one of the lives, somebody asked me my favorite genre of music, and I was talking about, and what music did I like, and what's my first memories of music. And I was actually in Germany when the Beatles had their first hit, so I can remember hearing it on American Forces Radio in Europe.
How old are you again?
I'm 68. And how old are you again?
Younger than that. Let's go with that.
Let's see. We had Christopher when I was 40, so that gives me an idea. So, but you're not 28. No. So, but that'll give you an idea. So, yeah, Europe was probably, I was there in 60 to 64, and then 67 and 68, and then back again in 72 to 73 to 76. And so,
okay, so for people who don't want to do quick math, how old were you when you were first there?
First time I actually attended a real kindergarten off base.
Okay, so young.
Young. And then I remember going to early elementary school, and then we went over there fifth and sixth grade was a split. So I was there for part of fifth and part of sixth grade. And then I went back as a junior in high school, so I was 16. I'd just gotten my driver's license, and we went over to Europe. I was kind of disappointed because you can't drive over there till you're 18. And
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was 16, and so I couldn't drive over there. And frankly, being on the autobahns there, it's like, yeah, I don't really want to drive there.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would love to now, but
So did you take a lot of public transportation?
we did use a lot of public transportation. The military, my dad was military, and so they had military buses driven usually by civilian bus drivers come pick us up every day to take us to school. And but we used transit there quite a bit because it was the easy way to get around, and it still is, as far as I know, the easy way to get around.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So yeah, I graduated high school over there, and went my first year of college in Munich, Germany, and so got to spend some older teen years over there, and then little kid years over there.
So where all in Europe did you go? And
So my parents were really good lifelong learners, and they're from a small town in Missouri, and they had always wanted to go see the world. My dad had actually joined the military at 18, and then Korea happened, and they started moving troops to Korea, and they replaced those troops with the National Guard guys. And so my dad went to Germany and was stationed at a barracks called Kelly Barracks outside of Stuttgart, Germany, as a military police officer.
Oh, nice.
And so he'd been there before we'd been there, before we went with him. And then we went back. He'd gone through officer candidate school and became an officer. And then we went back right after, not long after he graduated and became an officer. So
okay.
learned how to fly helicopters and airplanes in between, and then we rotated over to Europe again. We were in Nuremberg first tour, and because my parents are lifelong learners, they took us everywhere. And so there's a lot of things from my earlier years that I know I went to, but I don't really remember.
Right.
But they were real good about, we're going to Rome. We're going to
Oh, really?
yeah, they were good about
Wow.
that kind of thing, and they would take us out of school because it's still education.
Yeah.
And so we saw all kinds of things, and my parents were also really good about anytime we moved somewhere, we always explored that area for the first month and a half, and just got to know all of the historical stuff and the cool stuff in that area. And
Yeah.
for example,
history of it.
yeah. For example, when we moved to Washington State, I was already in college, but when they retired and they moved to Washington State, I came out with them, and in the first couple of weeks, we went clam digging on out of the coast.
Mm-hmm.
We climbed up above the tree line on Mount Rainier. We'd gone up the Space Needle. We'd been on a ferry in Puget Sound.
Jeez.
We went to Northwest Trek. We just did all of these things in the first. That's how they were everywhere we went. So we wound up actually everywhere we went, including Europe, going and seeing all kinds of things. And
Over a span of how long did you do all that stuff when they first went to Washington? Like a
just
week?
like 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just went and saw everything. And we had come in from Idaho. We stayed in Idaho, and then we drove across Washington State. So we'd seen eastern Washington, which is basically 2/3 of the state, and it's high plains until you get up north. And then you're into the pine forests. But yeah, and then we pretty much did all the really popular stuff here. But Europe was the same way. They did the same thing. We would go exploring everywhere. We saw so many castles and palaces, and I've walked on 2,000-year-old Roman-built roads.
Yeah.
And
Probably better
yeah,
roads than we have now.
they're not potholed, but they're made out of stone. So yeah, and I sure wouldn't want to travel on them in a wagon because, man,
Yeah.
that had to be a rough ride.
Yeah, it's probably.
One of my favorite stories, though, of being in Europe is when I was young, very young. It was our first tour there, and so we went to see the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And my parents, what they were doing was they were camping one night because he was a young officer, and they would camp one night, and then the next night we'd stay in a hotel. And they did this trip
Alternating?
this way, yeah.
Okay.
And when we got to Pisa, it was dark, and it was late. It'd been a long day, and we wound up going to this hotel because it was hotel night. And the guy at the hotel said, the only room I have is on the top floor. And but he was a very friendly man, and so they took us up to the top floor, and it was literally a top floor suite with balconies. We were on the roof with this private.
Really?
Yes. warm wind blowing, curtains were just drifting in and out, and it was. And my dad stayed up all night long because he was worried how much is this
It's
going
gonna
to
cost.
cost?
Yeah, yeah.
And when we got up in the morning, the man had told my parents, "Yeah, the Leaning Tower's just right there." When we got up in the morning, when it was light, the Leaning Tower of Pisa was 300 feet from us.
Really?
Yeah, it was right there. And first thing my mom said is, "It really does lean." Pretty darn observant, really.
Yeah.
So, and that was back in the day when you could go up it. You can't go up it anymore. So we were able to go up it.
Just not safe anymore. Or?
I think, it's got a pretty good lean to it. So, yeah, I know they've shored it up underneath, but, and we did the gondolas in Venice, and we've seen Michelangelo's The David, and
Wow.
they just kind of took us everywhere and saw the things that they wanted to see as they were growing up. So,
Okay. As an adult, more of an adult now, where would you like to go back to Europe and see and experience again as an adult as opposed to as a kid?
that's a good question. Nothing's ever going to be the same after that long. But when I was a junior and senior in high school over there, there was a castle near Stuttgart that was just these ruins, and it was still, the walls were still up, but there was no wood left in the thing, so all the flooring was gone. And I think about that castle a lot, and I recently asked my friend Ashley, who I traveled around Europe with. He goes back a lot, and he has a business that takes him over there a lot. So I asked him about that castle, and he said it's been rebuilt, and a family owns it, and they live there.
Really?
And it's like, oh, I would love to see that thing rebuilt, because
Yeah.
it was, walls were tumbled over, and you're talking about huge stones, and evidently they rebuilt it, and there's a family that owns it, and I'm assuming it's probably a tourist attraction and maybe an Airbnb for all I know. But I'd like to. So
Business
it's little
idea.
things. Yeah, it's little things like that that I really would like to see again. There's so much in Europe, and one of the things, the difference between here and there, one of the things is here, there's nothing older from Western civilization impact here in the United States, in the North American continent, that's older than 1600.
Right.
So 400 years. 400 years is nothing over
Yeah.
over there. I mean, things are old and still standing, a lot of them. So
Wow.
I was reading recently about the oldest pub in Ireland. Gosh, I think that thing's like 1,200 years old, and it's still open. It's a really dark place. There are a bunch of pictures of it. It's a really dark place, but I'd like to go visit that.
Yeah.
That'd be cool, yeah.
Yeah.
That's an old tavern,
I
man.
wonder if they keep it the exact same as it was, or do they try to do any sort of
It
renovation?
looked like the pictures all looked like, I think this is what it looked like when you
Yeah.
walked in here
That'd be
1,200 years
a
ago.
better
So,
experience
yeah.
like that than it would be if it was just
yeah.
modernized.
As far as going back and seeing things there, because I've seen so much there, I would love to go with my family and show them the things that I thought were really amazing, and they may be amazing now, they may not be now.
Yeah.
But I would love for you guys to see a lot of Europe, especially the southern part. Gosh, there's so much in the north too, though. We have talked about taking one of the riverboat cruises from the north. Then you have to take a bus over or train over the mountains, and then you take another river cruise. You get on there, and then you go down to the Mediterranean. I think that'd be really cool to do.
Yeah. 'Cause
Yeah.
I've only been to Japan, and so
Yeah.
I've heard lots of stories about Europe and whatnot, and I think it'd be a fun place to go.
We would have a blast. We had a blast in Japan. So, we, and there's just so much to experience there, and it's a different place. It's different than here, and then for me, it's the old stuff. But for you guys, my kids, the younger folks, there's a lot of action in Europe. I mean, there's a lot of happening, a lot of things going on, and so I think, like we did in Japan, I think there'd be days where Mom and I go one direction, and you guys went
Do one
another.
thing, yeah.
So it it was a good experience, and I wouldn't trade it for anything. And then graduating over there and being able to just travel around, and I had a good backpacking partner, Ashley, and we were good friends, and we actually sat together at graduation, and we get together quarterly still.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it was a fun experience.
Yeah, and so because growing up, we did so much traveling in the States. Do you think that, and it was all basically you, Mom wasn't really much of a planner or a traveler, I don't think.
She wanted you guys to experience things like Disneyland and
Yeah.
Getting down to Buddy and Weir's place down in Arizona. But really, yeah, she was kind of a Northwest girl, and for her,
Just kind of went with the flow.
yeah, and for her, their family vacations every year were they rented the same place on Orcas Island up in the San Juan Islands here
Oh,
in
okay.
Washington State. And for me, our vacations were generally traveling from one base to another base.
Yeah.
And we would wind our way through. And so for me, when she said, when we first talked about when we got together and we were deciding to go on our first vacation, she's like, "Oh, I'll see if the cabin's available up on Orcas Island." I'm like, "I've been to Orcas Island."
Yeah. It's nice, but I don't want to
Yeah, I'm not really.
go back this
So yeah, so it was. She's a pretty good traveler, though.
Yeah.
She's a happy spirit. She likes to go. She likes meeting people, and she loves seeing things. And so.
But I've always wondered, because you traveled so much as a kid and growing up and even into your adulthood, if that's the reason why you wanted us to go and see all these things around, or if it was just because, hey, I feel like going down south to California and
Yeah, I
the
think
kids can go.
I think it's a combination of the two. I like to go, and Mom likes to go, and so and then there were things we wanted you guys to experience as well. So, and traveling is just. It's a family bonding thing, really.
Yeah.
And by the time it's over, yeah, they're really closer, you guys.
Yeah.
Or as soon as we go home, the doors bail and everybody's gone and we don't talk to each other.
Yeah.
But we always had a good travel family.
Yeah.
And,
Still do, I think. I
and-
think even Japan was still a very
oh yeah, Japan.
Positive.
That is so far, I think, my favorite trip of all so far.
yeah. I'd have to agree.
It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm already looking forward to going back to Japan here pretty soon.
Yeah, we'd love to do it again. More to see. We only were there 10 days, and it just
Yeah.
that's not enough to really. It was enough to immerse ourselves pretty good, but
Yeah. But
yeah.
still so much to.
Yeah, we missed the whole north
Yeah.
and the whole south, really. I mean, the farthest south you guys went was you all went down toward Osaka
I
one
went to
time.
Osaka for a little bit, and then I went after you guys left. I went
Oh, you went north.
north.
Yeah.
But only, I think it was an hour and 15-minute drive
Yeah.
outside of Hitachi. And so it wasn't too north.
Yeah.
But a little
Yeah.
small town on the.
That was a fun trip, though.
Yeah.
So we can talk a little bit about the Japan trip because I think there's some fun things that happened
Go
with
for
that
it.
trip. So I have always gone the other direction to Europe, and one day Christopher came home from work and said, "Hey, you've been out of the country before. Would you go to Japan with me?" And my instant response was, my son's asking me to travel with him, so yeah, I'll go. Then my next thought was, oh, wait a minute, I've always gone the other direction. I've never gone that direction. And so we started planning it, and then one of my daughters, I think it was Laura first, that said, well, if you guys are going, I'm going.
I think it was Mom first.
Oh,
We were
really?
talking to her, and she was like, "Oh, that'd be a lot of fun." I was like, "Well, do you want to
Wanna go?
just go?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "I mean, I'd go." And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, then let's go. And then I think Laura then found out, and she was like, "Well, if Mom and Dad are gonna go, and you're going, well, I kind of want to go." And I was like, "Then let's go." And
then-
then Leah was like, "Well, hold on, I'm not gonna be the only one that's not
Only
going."
one not going. Yeah.
Well, let's go then.
Yeah.
We started planning, and
And I got as an older person, the traveling kind of gives me anxiety. It's not actually the traveling, it's the getting ready for
Yeah.
the traveling. And the idea that I'm leaving my home, which I love dearly, and
leaving this.
sleeping in
Shop.
my beautiful shop, and sleeping in strange places. I don't sleep well when I'm on the road, and usually if I stay in a hotel for a couple of days, I'll finally get a good night's sleep. But the first couple of nights, it's new to me, and we live way out in the country where it's quiet. I sleep with the windows open, and what wakes you up in the middle of the night is the coyotes howling as they come through. Other than that, it's pretty quiet out here.
Oh, yeah.
So, so then we bought our plane tickets. We got our currency exchange to
Yen.
yen, and we kind of looked around at lots of different things that we could do, and we knew we wanted to go to Tokyo.
Yeah.
And Christopher wanted to see some of the areas of that he's seen in anime, and so we knew we wanted to do a little bit of that too. And I started looking at the historical stuff because I wanted to see the old stuff, and so
Oh yeah, it was.
yeah. So we went to so we finally got on a flight, and it was 11 hours
Yeah, a little over 11 hours.
there.
I think it's a little shorter on the way back.
It was shorter on the way back, but you got the jet stream tailwind, so we came in a little quicker. But and we flew over, and we got there, and we discovered right away we were planning on taking transit everywhere, but we discovered right away that Ubers work really well there,
A lot
and
more
they're
convenient
reasonable, and they'd come and get you, and it would also send a van that could hold 5 of us and all of our luggage, which Christopher and I had one bag in a day pack.
Yeah, I had a backpack and a carry-on, and the other ones in the family, they had big bags, small bags, backpacks, perfect.
One daughter in particular, man, oh man, lugging her suitcase around was
Yeah, that was.
it was pretty big. So we got into Tokyo and found out that Ubers work really well, and Waze, the app works really well for directions. And
Does it? I never used it.
yeah,
Just
that's
used
what Mom and I
Maps.
used was Waze, and so we went, got to our hotel, which was in the Shinjuku district of Tokyo. Shinjuku, that's right. We were going to stay in Shibuya. Shibuya, that's right. You're right. Yeah.
I know.
Shinjuku.
Yeah.
Yes, district, and our hotel was there. It was a nice hotel.
Godzilla Hotel.
Had Godzilla right outside the door, and had our first experience with Japanese pillows, which
You guys didn't like.
I didn't mind because I discovered that one side's hard and the other side, when you
Yeah.
flip it over, is soft. So, I didn't mind them. I had read a lot of reviews of
Yeah.
pillows, or bring your own pillow, and I was like, I'm not bringing a pillow. But the hotel rooms were nice, and the hotel was nice. It was well situated in Shinjuku,
Yeah.
so we could get to all of these really cool things. And Omoide Yokocho, that street that's just 10 feet wide and it's just lined with these little
It was just.
eating places.
Yeah, it was like an alleyway of just. Entertainment.
smells were
fun.
fantastic, and little shops, and it was right there, and so we got to experience that, and then we went up the
Skytree.
yeah, which is a lot taller than the Space Needle.
Yeah, it was. You can definitely see so much from up there.
Yeah, the surprising thing is Tokyo is a massive city. I think 10 million people, and we compare that to Seattle at 900,000. When we got up the Skytree, one of the things that we noticed was that you couldn't see the end of the city.
No.
It was that big.
And we were pretty high up there. So.
Yeah, and the funny thing for me was looking out like that, you'd see pockets of skyscrapers off in the distance. So there's areas that are far more urban, but that city is just huge.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. The people were fantastic. One of our favorite experiences was we had read that 7-Elevens are a spectacular thing in Japan. So
Absolutely.
one of the first things that we did was we got in our hotel. I think after we got in our hotel, the first thing we did was went to a 7-Eleven.
Yeah, because
there was one.
It was on the first floor.
Yeah, it was in
7-Eleven.
the building we were in.
Yeah, which is very nice.
Yeah, it was.
Along with like 7 or 8 other restaurant chains. Some
right there.
buffet place. A whole bunch of stuff. It was nice.
It was 7-Elevens became our kind of go-to where's the nearest 7-Eleven?
Yeah.
because
Well, and I was talking to my buddy Conan, who lives in Japan. We went to high school together, and he's over there teaching English. And I was talking to him 2 days ago. I was like, still to this day, my favorite food over there was pork buns from 7-Eleven. And we ate at a lot of good places and a lot of good food, and everything was amazing. But something about those pork buns
and
at
they were
7-Eleven.
fresh food right there.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So that was a surprise. And then, so we traveled Tokyo using Ubers the whole time, and then we went to
Took a bullet train.
Took the bullet train,
Yeah.
yeah. Brad Pitt wasn't there. It was kind of disappointing. We took the bullet train to Kyoto, and
That took, 4 hours?
we were on the train 2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. Yeah. Okay. And
Boom, that thing just moves so fast.
Yeah.
One of the drawbacks of it was, as I'd look out the window, it'd be like, oh, I wanted to see what that,
Yeah.
I wanted to see what that was. But you're flying. And pretty amazing
It's
journey.
comfortable too.
It was.
It was. I think Leah even actually fell asleep for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I could see how you could do that. It was not, you noticed the acceleration when we'd start.
Yeah.
But once you were up to speed, you didn't notice at all. And then I really didn't notice deceleration at all.
No, it wasn't.
You knew it was coming
Yeah.
because they let you know. But then one of the cool things about the bullet train also, I don't know if you noticed this or not, but when the conductor would come through,
Mm-hmm.
the door would slide open. He would he would step into the doorway, bow,
Yep.
and then walk through. Not really not really looking at it, just checking. Get to the other end, the door would open. He would turn around, bow, and it was like, oh man, this is just
It's a different culture.
it is an amazing culture and respectful. And Kat and I, your mom and I, being older, were treated extremely well and taken care of very well. And that was one of the things I really admire about the Japanese people when we were there, was you could physically see if you needed help and they couldn't help you, you could almost see them like be disappointed
Yeah.
in themselves because they wanted to help you.
All right.
Red lights on.
Yeah. Fun fact.
And so we got to learn something new, that the batteries on the camera will only last so long. And
It was full when I
Yeah.
started it, and I don't know what's going on.
I
but
blame my IT guy.
Yeah. Why fire him?
No, I need him too much. So, but yeah, that was a discovery. So this is all new to us, as we mentioned earlier. So
Yeah.
when we went to Kyoto, Japan, on the bullet train, and then we had a hotel that was just walking distance to the
Yeah. Like 3
train
blocks.
station. Yeah, a couple blocks. And so then Kyoto is an old city. And so, man, we went to a lot of shrines and temples.
Yeah.
And we tried to, on the first day we went to a temple, I noticed a older man, Japanese man, before he went through the gates, he bowed and then went in. And so I started doing that as well, just out of respect and for that culture. And man, some of those temples are just so old. And we saw the tallest all-wood pagoda.
Yeah.
7 stories tall, all wood, and you weren't allowed to go in it because it's still a monastery. And so, yeah, that was a really cool experience. And then you guys went south. A
little bit.
Yeah, Leah and Laura and Christopher went
To the
south.
southwest side, and we thought, oh, yeah, okay. The first time we took the train down to Osaka and then over to the Nara region.
So Nara.
Yeah, and so that's where they have all of the domesticated deer, just wandering around, literally crossing the street, jaywalking a little bit. But and yeah, they have a bunch of biscuits that you can buy, and when we walk up to you, they do a little bow, and they
Wow.
expectations to give them a little biscuit cookie thing, and then a lot of fun, amazing. You can pet and see all of the deer so close to you, and they come up to you and yada yada yada. But then sometimes if you give them, even if you don't give them a cracker, if you do give them a cracker, they get very not want to say aggressive, but they'll definitely kind of headbutt you a little
Nudge you
bit.
for, hey, where's my?
Yeah. Like I bowed. Where's my? Come on.
You owe me a snack.
Yeah. And so I mean, we saw easily over 100,
Wow.
150, 200 just from where we were, and we went and saw a couple temples over there. Do got to watch out for their droppings because they're just
Everywhere.
anywhere and everywhere. But
Yeah.
they do a good job picking it up, cleaning it up, keeping it all that whole area just nice. And and we just walked around, and I think we just got a train back, and then
Did you guys go to any of the monkeys?
the next day we went to southwest on the west side of Kyoto. And
Oh,
they-
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, we climbed I mean, it wasn't that bad of a hill. It was to Laura because she thought we told her we were going hiking up to see some monkeys, and she's like, oh, that sounds amazing. And for some reason I think she wore her like Chuck Taylors and jeans.
Not good walking.
Yeah, no. She Laura asked Leah what she was wearing, and Leah's like leggings and like sneakers, like comfortable stuff. And sure enough, Laura still wears her
Looking good.
looking good. And so after about 5 minutes of going up, she's like, oh, this is not a good idea. You guys want to take videos and pictures and show them to me? Like, just keep going.
Yeah.
And so we got up there. You're not allowed to crouch down or feed them outside because I don't really know why, but I'm sure they can get aggressive or do something. But they have a whole indoor area that you can go in and buy some cut up apples and fruit and other stuff, and they actually hang on. There's like window wire all the way around, and you just put them down and take them, eat them, and chase each other, climb up and down, jump around. It was a very, very fun experience. And we were actually up there during the feeding times around noon. So we have a video of, they were banging on a trash can, and, we see, 40, 50 monkeys just up there. And then the second they start banging,
Okay.
they come from everywhere that you never saw them. And there's close to, I want to say close to 200 up there, or 150 just all running out, and they have a bucket full of these nuts, and they throw them, and it scatters everywhere, and they all find one, sit down, and start breaking it open and
Eat the nut.
eat the nut.
Wow.
And it's like it was a very cool experience to watch. I'm glad we went at that time, and then going down was a little bit easier than going up, so
Downhill.
that was nice. And then just down the road, there was a nice little area, and there's actual bamboo forest.
Oh yeah, the bamboo forest.
Yeah, and so we walked down there, and it's literally just left and right,
Yeah.
all around you, bamboo and
Big
walk
stuff.
around. Yeah,
How tall?
tall.
Yeah.
Trees.
Really, like trees. Okay.
Well, not like the ones we.
How big around?
Pretty good size.
Yeah.
They were.
Wow.
Yeah, a lot.
I didn't get to see that.
No.
I saw pictures of it, and I've seen pictures you guys took of it, and
Yeah.
I wish I would have seen that. The forester in me wishes I could have seen that.
Yeah, and it was a fun experience to that was half of what we did, was just walk around and see what we can find, and just adventures out there.
Yeah.
Gotta find it, and
Yep. So while you guys did that, Mom and I went to the Imperial Palace, which was the center of Tokyo, or of Japan, for over 1,000 years. It was the Imperial Palace, and we got to tour it. And there's parts of it you can't go into. And then I did ask if the Imperial family was there, and they said no, they spend most of their time in Tokyo. It's like, oh dang, I was hoping to meet them. And yeah, some of the amazing things we saw there were, for one thing, it's very old and very beautiful. We also went to the Tijo, I think it's called Tijo Castle. Just beautiful.
is that the one that we went to?
Did you guys go on that one too? I think you might have.
Yeah, it's
Surrounded by, it's got a moat.
Yeah,
the walls are
it's
kind
where the samurai gave it power back.
yeah. You guys were on that one
Yeah,
too.
we went there. And
so-
that was a fun. You get to walk, and they have the descriptions on every room on what this was used for,
yeah,
and what they.
yeah.
And
That was good. And then my favorite memory of Kyoto, the Imperial Palace was amazing. But Mom and I went up to the Silver Temple, which is one of the most photographed of the temples in Kyoto, and you would recognize
Yeah.
a lot of the sand sculptures and garden, just beautiful gardens. And it was an uphill climb to that one. And so Mom and I got there. It took us a while, and but oh gosh, just so beautifully landscaped. And that was one of the things we noticed also when we were at the Imperial Palace. Was I'm walking along, and I'm hearing these two guys laughing, and I look up, and there's two Japanese guys up in these trees, and they're shaping them.
Yeah.
It's like, and they're just laughing away and having a good time.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. But Japanese gardens and Japanese landscaping is labor intensive, and so,
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Oh man, no kidding,
Yeah.
very beautiful. And I don't know if Kat will get in trouble for this, but she collected seeds from all over the place, and we actually started some of them here. So
Of course she did.
yeah. So I told her, I don't know if we're going to get those through customs or not. And she goes, well, I'm putting it in your bag, so it doesn't really matter.
I'm not. You are.
Yeah. So I did get them through customs, and but yeah, we took some seeds, and we started some of them. So hopefully we'll get some. They should be coming up
Nice.
this year.
You know.
We don't know what they are, but
Yeah.
yeah, we did that. And then bullet train back to Tokyo
Yeah.
after 3 or 4 days, 4 days, 3 nights in Kyoto. Bullet train back, and then another couple days in Tokyo, and then Christopher stayed for another 2 weeks.
Yeah. We went
Went north.
saw my buddy, and Yeah, definitely. If you ever go to Japan, be prepared to walk and get your steps in because everywhere.
Yep.
I mean, I think when we went to Disneyland the second day, I think it was.
Yeah,
the
we
third
went
day.
to Disney Tokyo. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I was 40,000 steps for that
Wow.
day,
Wow. Yeah.
on top of other stuff. But it
Yeah.
was definitely,
Yeah. The
It was-
food, the food was amazing.
yeah,
We ate really well everywhere we went.
yeah,
I'd eat sometimes at one of these food stands. I'd just be like, I'm having that, whatever that is.
yeah. I don't care what's in it.
It sure smells good and it looks good. So
Yeah, I don't think I have had anything that wasn't good.
I don't
Delicious.
recall having anything either that I did not eat. Food was good. The people were just kind as they could be and polite and helpful. And we used translators on the phones quite a bit. But when we came down the hill from the Silver Temple, had to walk quite a ways down, and we went into this one tiny little open storefront shop. And instantly, the woman who was running the shop quit doing what she was doing, which was braiding little bracelets.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And she stopped doing that and came out, and she and Mom instantly just, they were arm in arm and chit-chatting. And neither one of them spoke the other person's language, but they were laughing, and it was a really good, we spent half an hour in this gal's little shop, and we wound up buying, it was, Mom really,
Yeah.
the two of them just,
They clicked.
there was something about these two women that just they really got along well. And I wound up buying one of the braided wristbands. It was actually she pointed and told me it was actually
Oh, for the ankle?
women's for ankles.
Yeah,
And I'm
yeah.
like, yeah, but she's like, so I got that, and it lasted about a year. And it finally
Wore off.
wore off. So I took it and I put it in my. I have a drawer under my bed that I keep all of my.
Memorabilia stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
lock of Christopher's hair, and just all kinds of stuff in there that I've kept over the years, and I have that in there for future memories, and I'd like to get another one made. So.
Or we
someday.
just go back to
Or we go back to
and-
Japan because I
just
need
to get
another
you
one,
another one of
of those.
those.
Yeah, it was red and black. It's a beautiful braided thing, and I was just really taken by how well these two women just instantly got along. We wound up buying a what's the drink? Sake.
Sake, yeah.
Set, serving set, and I bought the bracelet, and we bought a couple other things there that were just things that we thought were really really neat. And she was just a wonderful gal, and
Nice.
that was a cool thing. So then we flew out, left you there. That was a heartbreaking moment for me, folks.
Yeah.
My daughters will tell you I cried when I got in the van without my son. But
It's funny because the day when you guys all left, I think I stayed another night there in Tokyo, and then my buddy after school he came and picked me up, and when he was messaging me when he was just outside of Tokyo, and he was like, "God, I'm almost there." I was like, "Okay, what kind of vehicle? How do I know it's to you?" And he just goes, "You'll know." Oh, okay. And so all of the vehicles in Tokyo are very similar. Most of them
Yeah.
are, taxi
Yep.
kind of, yeah.
yep, Ubers and
And so I'm sitting there and I see him drive by, and it's a Mustang, Ford Mustang.
American-made car.
Oh yeah, he's on the left side as opposed to the right side steering wheel, and he's hop in. It's like,
Wow.
okay, sure enough. And we drove north and stayed at his place for 4 days or 4 nights, and then and it was like a 8-minute walk to the beach. It was nice. We walked there, and it was a fun time. And then went back, and I stayed in Shibuya for 2 more days.
Oh, okay. That's when you went to Shibuya.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was, about a 4 or 5 minute walk to Shibuya Crossing.
Which is that amazing thing you see on
yeah.
anytime they show pictures of Japan. It's this amazing thing with
Just sidewalks everywhere.
people
crosswalks
going every which way, and people are just
Everything stops, and they all walk from every angle. And then, I saw people, they would walk to one side and then stop and wait, and then walk to the other side just to experience walking
Through
every
the-
single side of the Shibuya
Cool.
Crossing. And
I did not get to see that.
yeah, That's, again, we just have to go again, and
Yeah.
yeah,
I would love to get there again and spend more time.
yeah.
Less time in Tokyo, I think. Probably a couple nights in Tokyo and then leave
Yeah.
and go experience some other parts of Japan.
I know Leah really enjoyed. I mean, Laura's a city girl, so she really
Yeah.
liked the Tokyo.
Tokyo, yeah.
Leah enjoyed Kyoto more, and then she actually really enjoyed the time at Nara because it was a much smaller feel
Town,
to it.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's as amazing as Tokyo is. We spent most of our time just walking around, seeing what we can find, and
Yeah.
we went bowling one day, arcades, all
Oh,
that
yeah.
kind of stuff, and it was definitely, people walking all the way.
City did not sleep much.
No,
that's
no,
for
not
sure.
at
It was
all.
pretty darn busy. So
And no, we're used to waking up and doing stuff early in the morning, and a lot of places don't open there until afternoon.
Yeah.
Even like cafes. Like,
Yep.
there was a Starbucks across the street that we went to, but
the place was clean every day. They were out
Yeah.
cleaning in front of their storefronts, and it was a really amazing experience. And I couldn't have asked for 4 better travel companions. Everybody was agreeable. I kept telling everybody. I don't know how many times I would stop somewhere. It's this spectacular Japanese design. I would stop and go, "We are in Japan." And, I don't know how many times I said it. And then after we got back, when I was describing how we did as a family, I was like, you know what? We solved every problem we encountered together, and we figured it all out. And there was some tension occasionally, as you can imagine. There always is. And just traveling around Europe with my friend Ashley, we'd have some tense moments where we just didn't agree about something, but we worked our way through all of them.
that's why we all had our separate rooms.
And we did have separate rooms.
To just, I think every day, I think we had most of us would just go back to our room and just relax, take a quick little power nap.
Yep.
We just spent 5 hours walking around doing stuff, and
Yeah.
then,
Saw so many temples and shrines, and it was an amazing trip. I'd love to do it again. So I was thinking though that when you were young, we used to do these things called Guys Great Adventures.
yeah,
Yeah.
that was always once a year. You, me, and my best friend growing up, we would always just.
Noah.
How did you plan that? What made you plan?
We wanted to. I think I just wanted to have an adventure with you guys, so I decided that. So Chris and Noah were probably on for the first one.
Oh man, I think we were in 3rd, 4th grade.
That's about right. Yeah. So I planned a 10-day trip.
10 to 12. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about right. To Yellowstone,
Yeah.
and I kind of made the theme Western cowboy towns, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so we jumped in. I think that was our
Kia Spectra.
Kia Spectra Blue. That
bought.
thing is still on the road too.
And you bought it, man. I think.
Yeah, it had 7,000 miles on it when I bought it. Put a bike rack on the back and had the boys had their bikes.
Yeah.
So we stayed in KOAs, and we would get to a KOA. The reason I like those is there's almost always a swimming pool. They monitor each one another, so they're always clean. They're kind of like going to McDonald's in New York and McDonald's in Washington State. You know what to expect. Mm-hmm. And so we stayed in KOAs most of the time. I think there were a couple times we didn't, but most of the time KOAs.
Yeah. I don't remember ever staying in a hotel.
Yeah, no, we camped, yeah. And so we headed out, and we would get to a KOA. We'd pull in. I'd take the bikes off the car. Mm-hmm. The boys would head out and ride around the KOA, and while I checked us in, and then they would come find the campsite that I was parked at, and
Lot 44.
Yeah.
Okay.
First night was Spokane, KOA outside of Spokane, and then we went to. Did we go to Silverwood for that one?
I don't think we ever went to Silverwood.
I don't think we did. Yeah. So then we went into Idaho and Montana, cowboy towns, western towns, and went to the old Montana State Penitentiary.
Yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah, and oh man, could you imagine? We were like, oh gosh, the cells were stone.
Yeah.
And they were 6 feet wide and 8 feet long. that's your cell. I was like, oh my gosh. And it was hot and, yeah, miserable place. Oh, I couldn't imagine being in prison in that, but, or any prison, but that one in particular. And then we made it all the way to Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And we camped to KOA outside of Yellowstone, and then we went into Yellowstone every day and explored. And
I remember you giving us those little cameras.
oh yeah,
We love and-
disposable cameras.
Yeah. And oh man, probably 70% of our pictures has a thumb in it. We just could never figure out how to use them.
I did take those pictures and create for the boys books.
Yeah, a booklet of.
Guy's Great Adventure, and it's all their pictures and
And you
the
write
things-
a paragraph.
yeah, about each one of them, and it was a
Boys
fun.
passed out in their tent with chocolate on their face.
I did feed them well, and but we did try to have a hot meal every day, and
Yeah.
but every morning Noah wakes up a little slower than Chris does, and
yeah.
so a lot of the morning pictures are Noah kind of half asleep with a spoonful of
Cereal.
and milk. And so yeah, then we made it down. We went to some caverns too on that trip, and then we went to we stayed at my mom and dad's,
Yep.
and down in Roseburg, Oregon, and then we came home. It was a 10-day trip.
Yeah. How many did we go on? It was
I think we went on 3.
3.
Yeah.
They were all about.
The next one was water park type of things. We went to lakes, rivers, and water parks. And so we just did kind of a big loop in the Northwest. And then the next one was golf. When we went to Ephrata.
Yeah. See, we never, as a kid, we never understood that there was a theme.
Yeah, I had idea what it.
Yeah, we didn't. That
yeah.
we just gave us.
Yeah.
There's a Game Boy. There's a book.
Yeah, yeah. That was one.
We'll be there in 6 hours.
That was one of the differences I noticed in the boys and how I got to travel. There were no cell phones, no iPads, no Game Boys, no nothing like that, and so you couldn't watch a movie. Yeah, these guys sat in the back, and I drove.
Yeah, I remember when we first got those portable DVD players that battery life was almost a full movie, weighed like 10 pounds.
Yeah.
It was just a heater, basically.
Yeah.
We'd get most of the way through Star Wars.
Yeah, yeah. So they'd sit in the back, and I'd point out things, and every now and again they'd go, "Oh yeah."
Yeah.
And we were in one canyon somewhere, and when I pulled off because I wanted to experience how hot it was, and I got out of the car, and it was. That canyon it had to be 114, 115 degrees. And I said, boys, you got to get out and at least experience it. They're out for like 2 seconds.
Oh, yeah.
Back in the air conditioning. But you had some good experiences.
Yeah.
And, one of the things we did along the way was geocaching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where you'd give us the paper and we had to decipher what.
Yeah, I had to decipher it. Yeah, and so that's where there are things cached out there that you can find, and we always tried to. We didn't like just the login ones. We
Yeah.
liked the ones where you take something out of the box and you put something back in. And
With
so,
that bouncy balls.
yeah, yeah, we had all
Toys,
kinds of
all kinds.
little toys, and we would put those in there, and then. And then we had, what did we call the person who discovered the cache?
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye, yeah, for the day. He was
Hawkeye,
Hawkeye for the
sure.
day, yeah. So,
An honor.
yeah, it was, yeah.
I found that up against the
Yeah,
tree.
so they would decode the and
Hint.
then search for it. And
Yeah,
so
most of them have a hint on, like,
yeah,
you know.
a squirrel would live here.
Yeah.
And so you're looking for a hole in a tree.
If you find your ankles wet, you have walked too far.
Yeah, they were pretty cool. We had a lot of fun doing those things, geocaching, and I don't think we ever had one we didn't find. And we did have one time where we found one,
We found a second one.
but it wasn't the one we
Yeah.
were looking for. It wasn't
right.
even on our list, and then we found the one we were actually looking for.
I feel like there was one that we didn't find because I remember you had the yellow handheld coordinate one,
GPS, yeah.
and we spent. It was at like a park, and we were like,
Yeah, I never did find it.
no,
I know we finally went under the dock at that.
yeah, not that one.
Okay.
This was one.
That was on the swimming one. That
Yeah,
was
this
water
wasn't a park in the middle of like a. It wasn't like a big park. It was like a 4x2 stretch of shrubs, and
park. We just never found it.
I don't recall ever finding. I remember looking for a very long time, and either we did find it and it wasn't satisfying at all, or
Yeah.
we just wanted ice cream and
Those were
left.
fun adventures, though. But yeah, the guys rode their bicycles everywhere, and
Yeah.
it was a ton of fun. traveling with the guys, and we would write in the dust on the back window, "Guy's Great Adventure."
Yeah.
And that Kia Spectre took us everywhere, all over the Northwest. And I tried to make it fun. We'd stop at, one of the cool things about geocaches is the Farm Implement Museum. Do you remember going to that? They had a geocache, and so we went to it. This is the Farm Implement Museum. I never would have gone out my way to go to the Farm Implement Museum, but we did, and it was cool. And then we went to one geocache was where they were training pilots during World War II in Eastern Washington.
In the big open airfield.
Yeah, and you could still see the outlines of the barracks. It was all sagebrush, and it had been placed by one of the
pilots,
people who had been stationed there and learned how to fly there. And then in his notes, he said, "I wonder." He used to flick they weren't allowed to smoke in the barracks, and they would hang out the windows at night and flick their ashes down into a coffee can. And he ended it with, "I wonder if that coffee can is still there." And that was the hint that we're looking for a coffee can.
Yeah.
And so, so we found that one.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
You always, if you see any holes, don't jump over them and don't make any sudden movements because we're in rattlesnake country.
Yeah, we were a lot in rattlesnake country. Those were fun trips, and among my favorite memories of of you guys growing up and just having a blast. And they were never trouble. It was always pretty. They were pretty easy to get along with, and good travel mates once again. So we are
pushing 45, 50 minutes.
So last thing that I think we wanted to chat about though was, since we've been talking about travel, where do you want to go next?
Back to Japan.
Back to Japan. I'd do that in a heartbeat.
I do want to go see Europe because I've heard so much about it, and kind of go visit Leyde in Spain.
Yes, we have a young lady that was an exchange student for many years with us, and
she came one summer and loved it. She came 3 summers after. And then
that, and then anytime she's in the States, the girls try and hook up with her. And a wonderful young lady, and she's in Spain and would love for us to come over. So Spain's a good idea.
Yeah.
But if we're going to do Spain, then we're going to do
more than just.
We'll do more than just Spain, but Spain itself, we could spend, a lifetime in and still not see it.
Exactly.
It's so. What about somewhere like Africa?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always adventures out there.
I think that'd be cool too. I would love to see more of Indonesia, Thailand. I'd love to see that.
The Philippines.
Philippines, absolutely. And then Australia, New Zealand.
Yeah. Do you have a priority at the very top, or?
Right now, it would be to go back to Japan, really, because it was just and we only scratched the surface of this wonderful country and these wonderful people and this wonderful culture, and I miss the 7-Elevens.
Yeah, you do. Conan still sends me. There's a world-renowned dumpling place, pork bun place, 25, 30 minutes from his place. That he didn't take me to. Oh. But every time he goes, he sends me a picture of this is what they have today. God, it's so amazing.
Yeah, that stuff was really good. Did you watch any anime while you were there?
Yeah.
Did you? Okay.
I was going to bed.
Okay. You didn't go to any of the theaters and watch it?
No. None of the theaters, but a lot of shops and places in there and whatnot.
Cool. So, I guess the last place on my list to go see would be the North Pole. It's cold.
Yeah.
I'm not going to. I would like to see Antarctica from a heated ocean liner.
Something.
On a cruise where I could look out at it and go, cool. I've been to Antarctica. Antarctica. And so, well, you know what? This has been a lot of fun chit-chatting about where to go and where we've been and the travels that we've had and the travel we hope to have.
Has worked properly.
The equipment does seem to have held up. So
get to editing and realize, one of us was muted.
That would be a drag. We're all showing up on the little mixer board that Chris got for this whole setup. So we will catch you on the next one of these. Meantime, Christopher and I, we love you guys.
Yeah.
We're happy to be doing this. It's fun.
It is.
Yeah.
More to come.
Yeah, more to come. Thanks, you guys. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.